Welcome, loved ones. Hallelujah. .6 minutes. We'll give folks about 6 minutes. Try to fill up the room. Peace and blessings to all of you loved ones. A few new choice jams to add to our playlist. Right, 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on. On. Hey! What's goody, Ma? Welcome, Sister D. Scott.
You come and look around me, yes. And I'll be home. I am going
Praise Yah.
to that road dancing in the sky. I will see my Lord. 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 I will see my Lord.
Hey!
You want to see him?
Brother Minister V in the place to be.
Heaven's where he'll be.
V Evans. I'm going to shout out everybody. Just give me a few seconds.
Lord Jesus is coming back again. He'll give rest to me. And this whole world of sin. I am heaven bound. And there's no turning around. I must see my Lord. 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 I really want to see. I must see my Lord. I must see my Lord. If I could just lay eyes on him. I must see my Lord. I wanna see. I wanna see my Lord. You know what I'm gonna do? I must see my Lord. I got to get my house in order. Oh Lord, I must see so I can walk around on a busy road. I must see. I wanna see. I wanna see my Lord. You know what I'm talking about? I must see my Lord. Walk me past busy man. I must see my Lord. 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 I wanna see. I wanna see my Lord.
And I'm thankful to be among you. And I'm ready to get it in.
As I go along from day to day, I thank the Lord He has made my way. Standing there when I'm up, lift me up when I'm down. Lord, He never found me. He's always around. That's why I'm thankful. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, Lord, thank God I am. Hey, late last night, I fell off the street. Well, that this morning,
Get your life.
long as I could be, give all my pain, I give it all to Him. Didn't have to move, not one single limb. That's why I'm thankful. Oh, yes, I am. Oh,
Prayers for
Lord.
Mr. Shepherd's friend.
Oh, yes, I am. Listen, He let me live. See another day, Lord, I'm thankful.
Please
Oh,
let me
yes,
live
I
to see another
am.
day. Have mercy.
Well, He moved all the stumbling blocks out of my way. Lord knows I'm thankful. Oh, yes, I am. Here's another thing. For without His love, I couldn't do a thing. That's why I keep on praising His name. Oh, I'm thankful. Oh, yes, I am.
Lord knows I'm thankful. I'm glad to be among you.
Praise God, I am.
And I'm thankful for the Holy Spirit that brung you. And peace and blessings, loved ones. Now, I want to show something first and then come back and give the shout outs to all the beloved family that is in attendance tonight. And I appreciate you if you hit that like. You all right. Now let's go ahead and let's look at something real quick together. I think folks are already aware. Some folks are already aware of the upload from a call for an uprising where he showed the Bimbo's initiation, which may be on YouTube elsewhere. I found it interesting that he said he didn't know. I don't know exactly when it's from and blah blah blah. All you have to do is like Google it. But in anyhow, folks are busy. I understand. The life of a conspiracy theorist is quite complicated and complex. We don't have time for the small details. All right. Now, for those who haven't seen it, hold on to your wig. This is from the 30s, you dig? Okay? And then after this, we're going to get right to the shout-outs, okay? Because I want to say hello to everyone. I don't want to leave nobody out. All right, let's do it. You ready? Let it roll.
Comments what you think.
We are
God
the
bless all of
members
you
of
and your
Do It or
friends.
Die. D-I-D-I-D-I. Why just make Bimbo as easy as pie? D-I-D-I-D-I. We are tough, you bet, filled with college pep. Bring him on, we cry. D-I-D-I-D-I. B-I-M-B-O. Bimbo.
By the mystic order of the...
I don't think it's coincidental, the emphasis on the buttocks. Once you see
Wanna be a member?
how thorough they are.
No. There's the way out.
Wanna be a member? Wanna be a member?
No. Ouch!
Good observation, Brother Joe.
Oh, yeah, come on.
Wanna be a member? Wanna be a member?
No.
Hello, May. I've got a bone to pick with you.
Symbolic of the paddling, the ritual paddling, which is symbolic of ritual homosexual initiation sex. There's the checkerboard floor. He's running himself ragged in circles. And they done tore him a new one.
Come inside, big boy.
What a pippin'.
Good Good observation, Friday Child. That's right, Erica. Right on, Alpine DZ, Brother Joe. Brother Mr. Joe. Look at that. Endless doors. Portals. Down the rabbit hole. Right on, Leoism. Running the gauntlet, the perilous gauntlet of initiation and ritual. Right on, San Pablos. Wow. She got implants. Snake charming music.
Wanna be a member?
Yes.
And she seduced them into it. And they're all actually women. A bunch of broads. Born insecure. Rat suit eating goobers. Just a cartoon. Ho hum. Yep. And there was much to glean from that, but I think that the most poignant thing we can pull out of it is the time period, 1931, and how long the powers that should not be have been using programming tactics and have been inserting their rituals into pop culture to get us used to the rituals and also to initiate us simply by we participate in the rituals through watching them. It's what they do with the Super Bowl. It's what they do with the award shows, the biggest award shows anyway. These are rituals, and they encourage the public to watch and follow these rituals as if you're going to get an award yourself. And people are very invested into these things. And they've become more and more occult as the years have gone on. It appears we all thought that, just like with the songwriter Secret, we all thought that the old things were less tainted. And maybe in some cases, in some ways, that is. I still maintain old films have better writing in general because the public or the audience demanded better writing in a time before special effects and CGI. So now that CGI or special effects is driving the movie, they don't demand writing anymore. But in general, we look at, mistakenly, we look at the old school as something untainted. And it is very sobering to see that even in 1931, they had this level of mind control and ritual initiation inserted within a cartoon, which although cartoons historically, the history of cartoons is that they were not created for children. They were made for adults. These were animated pictures to give some humor to adults in between newsreels and things of that nature. And then they began to market them toward children. So certainly children saw these. I remember watching all these old black and white films myself as a child. I remember seeing the old black and white Betty Boops. They would mix them in with the Popeye and Woody Woodpecker and stuff like that. That was, for my generation. They would also mix in those other shorts. What was the name? Max Fleischer. Was the guy behind the... Let's see, hold on one second. Fleischer Studios, right? Talk Cartoon. Yeah, right. Also responsible, I do believe, for Felix the Cat. And there is, of course, a Wikipedia page about that same cartoon. Let's read it. just for kicks. And then we're going to jump to the next thing I want to show you is predictive programming personified. The very best example of predictive programming that we have to show someone who may be open to some of these new ideas, but it's difficult to explain predictive programming to people. Fritz Springmeier had another word for it also, more connected to why the elite like to show us what they're going to do before they do it. Someone can recall that. I know somebody can. But yeah, the yes, that's right, Sister Vanette. Boop was a prostitute. Your mom told you right. And yes, Popeye said some dirty things too if you slowed it down. I think that's one of the reasons why they got Robin Williams to play Popeye. Robin Williams had this Tourette syndrome style of comedy. No offense to anyone who may suffer with something like that or any loved ones who do, but I mean it was a stream of consciousness style of comedy where it appeared he just said whatever came to mind and could continuously do this line after line after line after line, one-liners in the whole bit, and changing his voice, changing characters. I maintain this is a Legion possession. I neglected to mention, I think in the video that I just done, the movie, I think I neglected to mention that he is also one who claimed the sign of Gemini. And not to pick on anybody's, well, yeah, I am going to pick on your sign, because if you're going to claim that spirit, I'm going to pick on that spirit, then by default, I'm picking on you too. The shoe fits where the shoe. Lace it up too. All right, but yeah, we don't claim any of those spirits. They are spirits, in fact. And Aries gives us the best evidence of that, because we know that to be the spirit of war, mistakenly called a god by the people of Rome. Now, let's read Bimbo's initiation real quick, and then I want to move on. Bimbo's initiation is a 1931 Fleischer Studios talk cartoon animated short film starring Bimbo, and featuring an early version of Betty Boop with a dog's ears and nose. It was the final Betty Boop cartoon to be animated by the character's co-creator, Grim. Yes, his name is Grim. Grim Natwick. Grim Natwick. Plot. Bimbo was walking down the street when he suddenly disappears down an open manhole. Do you remember when we examined the EPMD video for So What You Saying? And we also examined Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles at the same time, and we indicted the manhole as also being some Masonic double speak and double entendre to represent the anus and the use of anal sex by these secret societies going back to the Greco-Roman practice of it, and more primarily the Greek civilization, which is in old school porn circles, they used to call anal sex Greek style, and the popularity of the gymnasium was from where young boys and older men would get together, and wrestling would often be a way to initiate that discreetly or subtly, if you will. But it was so prevalent in Greek society that no one would have batted an eye or protested if they saw an old man and a young boy getting too familiar with each other. That was part of the society. And so it's interesting when you hear your brothers and your sisters who call themselves fraternity and sorority members, they call themselves Greeks. Interesting. Greek freaks. They all have to do sex ritual initiation. Some people have seen photos floating around their campus of alphas engaged with alphas, or AKAs engaged in sex with AKAs, or being made to do very disgusting sexual acts with the counterpart fraternity, or with the brotherhood that went with the sisterhood. So, and I mean, that's lightly depicted in movies like School Days by Spike Lee. Okay, so Bimbo is walking down the street and suddenly he disappears down an open manhole and is subsequently locked down there by Mickey Mouse. He lands in an underground clubhouse of a secret society. The leader asks Bimbo if he'd like to be a member, but Bimbo refuses and is sent through a series of dangerous events. And yes, Erica, they were saying succubus. We are the succubus in the beginning. He is repeatedly asked by the leader to join their society, but keeps refusing. Bimbo is brought through a series of mysterious doors. Again, that is symbolic, and also we can relate that symbolism to the symbolism in the movie starring Matt Damon. What was that? Adjustment Bureau, where they went through the various doors. Also in the movie The Matrix, the way that they could go through portals or doors by way of the telephone, which is another tool that can be used as a portal if misused. Well, actually, that's the intent again for most technology. The fallen angels only gave mankind technology to trip him up. You know, folks like to say, well, it's just a tool, blah blah blah, and we live in the world and not of the world, and I have gadgets galore to aid me in various things. Concerning this work, it's necessary. However, the truth is still the truth, and I never forget it. You know, when I'm dealing with this technology, I understand that I believe there's some sort of thought reading technology in these androids and in these phones that they don't tell us about, things of this nature. I know that it's meant to be a portal, but you have these doorways symbolized by the phone in the Matrix, but also the flat out shown as doorways in the Adjustment Bureau. Excuse me. They represent dimensions. You can also throw in there the old TV show called Sliders. In the old TV show Quantum Leap, where they went through portals to end up in other dimensions and places. And it is believed that Masons, and also in They Live, if you remember when Roddy Piper used the watch, which I believe was supposed to be symbolic of a Rolex. I don't think that those watches are as expensive as they are simply because of the materials that they're made of, nor the name solely. I do believe that there's some sort of technology, like in the book, like in the movie The Skulls, when everyone was given the watch by what's his name? They had exiled him for a minute. Excuse me. What's his name? He played in the Kennedy assassination movie. He played If You Build It, They Will Come. Anyway, he gives all of the new members this watch. And that watch, in Skull, in the movie The Skulls, the watch does nothing supernatural. Or not Christopher Walken, not in the movie The Skulls. Thank you, Kevin Costner. Thank you, S. Maurice. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking of. But good shot, Dr. Dave. Yeah, Kevin Costner, when he gives the watch to Paul Walker from Fast and Furious, and all the other guys, it is symbolic of this idea that they give them some devices or technologies that are not available to all of us, as well as luxuries not available to all of us. But they even go further in They Live to say that there's some sort of supernatural technology behind this, and I maintain that it likely is. How deep that technology, how far it goes, who knows? But it would be fitting that a timepiece would be able to bend time and space as depicted in They Live. And we know that they give, the Brotherhood members give their membership certain information. Like they will tell them before the rest of the public knows, don't buy such and such a product, it's going to be recalled in December. Well, how come they don't recall it now if it's bad right now? Well, because Bob and Helen, they're kind of having some problems right now, and so they're going to need to make some money for the next quarter. So we don't want to shut them off before this next quarter's returns come back. So they're going to need to keep the product on the shelf at least, for the next 3 months. Wow. Okay. Things like that happen. They also tell them things like, yes, these are reports, reports that have come to me on of various number of ways. Another one is this: they'll program their wives. Is where the Stepford wives comes from. And again, these old things. These are old things. Do you recall the relationship between your Masonic uncle and your auntie, or between your Masonic granddaddy and your grandma, or between your Masonic daddy and your mama? Do you recall the dynamic? Well, he kept a lot of secrets from her. They had to. They kept secrets from their wives in order to empower themselves. It's one way that the Illuminati keep power over the masses is through secrets. Secret society certainly teaches that to their members. But aside from that, they also teach them means of mind control and hypnosis. They teach them mudras, or hand positions for mind control and hypnosis. And they also teach them things to do with their Solomon's ring. Spells and incantations, things to say and do in order to get assistance controlling your wife. Yes, yes, that's how they get their life. Unfortunately, they piece of life. These are the rulers of the world, Psalm 2 and 2, and these are the insecure and the ungodly, those who would do anything in order to cheat the game and jump ahead in society. They are not exception. Believe me, despite what they portray, they are not exceptionally attractive, smart, creative. They are not exceptionally hardworking. They are really quite the contrary. They're lazy. Most of the time, they are unattractive. They feel they feel as if they are the more misaligned in society. They don't feel as if they're the dominant or the alpha male. They feel as if, though, however, if there's a way to jump ahead into that spot and to get women and to get respect from men and to get power in business, to jump ahead in that spot. I mean, and again, oftentimes they're not very intelligent. They may come from ritual programming, from families and bloodlines that abuse the children. And oftentimes that results in a retardation. The very richest and most powerful people in this world, where the prince of it is the devil, these individuals by and large are not just compromised mentally due to incestuous relationships between their elite families, but also they are compromised mentally because of their being open all the time to devils, and their use of conjuring and spirits to aid them oftentimes drives them crazy. They live in an occult reality. Can you imagine if it is true that Princess Diana told someone near her that she called the royals reptiles and that she saw the queen shapeshift? If that were true, could you ignore that in order to live as a princess with the most powerful royal family in the world? So see, that's but one example. But think of all of the actresses and actors who see reptile devils around them and who see mind-controlled individuals around them and who've even seen some clones and things around them, who've witnessed ritual murders, who've seen pedophilism from powerful men in Hollywood abusing child actors and child stars. Can you imagine how many of them turn a blind eye and a deaf ear? Elijah Wood tried to come out and say something, and what happened? Just what you thought would. They immediately came out and must have sent the Adjustment Bureau to adjust him a little taste, because within no time at all, he was retracting his statement or doubling back at the very least. Corey Feldman, another one. I don't Bimbo believe, that he got stabbed or that he's going to tell anyone anything really, truly damaging. And thus they've rewarded him with a role as a transvestite vampire. And so, the game is very deep. Once you're in the brotherhood, you can get out, but the difference between like being in a street gang and being in this gang is the benefits are far more extreme. And I think when people get used to that particular lifestyle and they are seen as the elite, again, if they were very insecure in life and if they were really filled with the lust of the flesh, lust of the eye, pride of life, then they would chase those things, by any means. I could see Brandy, she said, where does this come from? Just things coming to me. I could see Brandy aiming her car to hit somebody. Again, I don't know. Again, this is just I said I can see. I don't know that it happened. But to hit somebody because she knows she needed to deliver a sacrifice to old goop-faced Lucy, the one she dearly loved. And I could see her doing that, I could see her really being concerned about, was the girl killed or was the passenger in the other car killed, but being concerned for totally different reasons than you and I would think a person could be concerned for. You would hate to do that for nothing if you call yourself trying to create a sacrifice in that manner. And again, that's totally hypothetical, but you get my point. So this is the mind state of this business. And that's why it preys off of people who want to be a star. They're thirsty to be worshipped. American Idol. They're thirsty to be called a star. They want to be celebrated, a celebrity. They want to enter the tame life and entertain and be contained in entertainment, which is a system of business. We saw that as we read the Marvin and Jan book. Some folks maybe didn't get it. If you didn't get it, you should listen to the very first broadcast of that After the Dance book, My Life with Marvin Gaye by Jan Gaye, who conspicuously refuses to use her whole name. I never hear Janice. But Marvin put on blast forever. It's on record. Oh, Janice. But it's interesting, if you didn't know her name was Janice, you wouldn't have thought about that. And most people don't relate Jan to Jen. But I tell you also on that list of fallen angel names where you can find Azrael and Gargamel or angels that were with the fallen or among the company of the fallen, which of course would have been of the fallen, you can also find Jan. And Jennifer and Amy, okay? Again, this doesn't mean that a person is going to be an evil person because they may have this name. Certainly not. But however, we know how MK Ultra works, and the mind control programmers like to use certain indicators to show others who are in the mind control industry and field, the sure signs that yes, this is one of ours. And she had all of the signs, even from her maiden name being Hunter. She was a Janice Hunter. She was a hunter for Janice, Project Janice, and part of the stage prostitution, as Marvin Gaye himself may have been part of the stage prostitution, a male stage prostitute, but she was part of the prostitutes that are provided for entertainers. There's no coincidence why she ended up with Frankie Beverly, then Teddy Pendergrass, then Rick James. And so the Brotherhood also has a sisterhood reflection where you find Oprah probably at the top in our country today here, but where you find all of the young actresses and I would dare say entertainers of all sorts, including newscasters. Newscasters have become much more suspicious in the last decade or so, since folks have been looking at conspiracy theories and things. We've noticed that they are just as guilty, it appears, of being handlers and mind control victims as their counterparts in the more glamorous entertainment field or parts of the entertainment field. But certainly people look at Diane Sawyer as a potential handler. And then, we've all seen the many different clips of news reporters not just appearing to have anomalies surrounding their eyes and mouths and facial muscles in general, but also to totally have spirits of confusion come over them, or some sort of seizing spirit come over them and stop them dead in their tracks. And we'll look at a couple of those things too. So just to finish out this paragraph and then to speak to folks and then to move on to the next thing. So Okay, so he's repeatedly asked by the leader to join the society, but keeps refusing. Bimbo is brought through a series of mysterious doors that lead him into yet another sub-basement. And just when you think that you've gotten all of the secrets, just when you think that you found the source of the light, they keep the carrot dangled in front of your head to keep you going forward just a little bit more. And they continuously do that. Sade sings, she laments in her song Soldier of Love, still looking for the light at the endless pool on the other side. That sounds like a person who is disgusted with the process. Interesting, when Oprah Winfrey is arguing with the lady on her show, on Oprah's show, back when she used to interact with the audience more, and the lady is talking about the pathway to God being Jesus Christ, and Oprah is arguing with her. It's interesting that she says in her hypothetical, she says, this lady, she may choose another path to God, and in her path, she may call it the light. And she was already initiated at that time. But says so. He's led into yet another sub basement. Again, levels beyond levels. Where he's, you think you've done everything because you've become a master in the Blue Lodge, and then you realize you lightweight jamming because the Red Lodge is on fire. So he says so Bimbo flees through various death traps. Trying to escape from the secret society will cause you to do that literally. Or once you've been targeted by the secret societies, and truly targeted by the secret society. Some people who would consider themselves to be targeted individuals are indeed targeted. They're demonically harassed. They're not on paper target of the alphabet boys. Those are very specific and isolated cases where they do that costs more money, it takes more time. It's much easier to turn on the machines and allow for spirits to run wild and to aim spirits. They can aim spirits like they can aim any other frequency. They have frequency weapons just for that reason. The frequency weapon is not just to be able to scramble frequencies of sound and things of that nature. They understand that the spirits themselves have frequencies, and their intent was to figure out ways to generate those spirits by machinery. Now, I also say that CERN is a bit of a distraction, as our other weapons that are highlighted and spotlighted as main culprits. If they can get this up and running, they're going to open up a portal to hell. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, they don't have to get any of that up and running to do that. They're able to do these things simply with incantations, with dead bodies, and with live bodies for sacrifice. They have torn the veil many times before. They are in league with fallen angels. They are in league with Lucifer in the flesh. They do not need a machine. Please believe me when I tell you that is a diversion and a distraction. Now, let me continue here. Bimbo flees through various death traps before landing in front of the mysterious order's leader again. Bimbo still refuses to become a member, but finally accepts the invitation when the leader reveals to be the real Betty Boop. And the rest of the society members remove their costumes, showing that they are all Betty clones, and Bimbo dances with all the Bettys to celebrate. The song "Wanna Be a Member" is parody lyrics written to the 1919 song "The Vamp," or "Vamp a Little Lady." And my understanding is that's a vixen sort of term, if I'm correct. But we'll look at that. Hold on. Okay. Real quick, the surreal, nightmarish atmosphere of Bimbo's initiation has made it one of the most renowned Fleischer Studios shorts. Leonard Maltin described it as the darkest of all the Fleischer's cartoons. In 1994, it was voted number 37 of the 50 greatest cartoons of all time by members of the animation industry. The cartoonist Jim Woodring identified Bimbo's initiation as one of the things that laid the foundation for my life's philosophy. The cartoonist Jim Woodring said that cartoon laid the foundation for his life's philosophy. On May 28, 2017, YouTube channel The Game Theorists compared the game Bendy and the Ink Machine with the decline of the Fleischer Studios. During the video, Bimbo's initiation was used as an example to highlight the similarities between the short's surreal, nightmarish atmosphere and the supernatural occurrences and jump scares in Bendy and the Ink Machine. Not familiar with that game. Okay. One of the scenes even appeared in one of the grim adventures of Billy and Mandy movies. And some references there of Leonard Maltin's of Mice and Magic, a history of American animated cartoons, and Gary Groff's Jim Woodring interview. And there are many links there as well. So although we know Wikipedia is a fan contributed resource, resource for information, or sometimes for basic information, it doesn't do a bad job. And again, all of that can be double checked for folks who would want to do that. And then let's look at the word vamp real quick, and then let me see about what's happening here. Vamp definition, just to be sure what's official. There was one there. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. The upper front part of a boot or shoe. Yeah, and it is a femme fatale character in movies or books. Okay. In jazz, a short, simple introductory passage. Right. Vamp in music. Right. Usually repeated several times until otherwise instructed, and that's as a verb. To repeat a short, simple passage of music. To attach a new upper to a boot or a shoe. Okay. A woman who is conscious of and makes use of being attractive to men in order to get what she wants. All right, that's in the Cambridge English Dictionary. That's what I was looking for. Okay, now let's see what's happening with the family. And I appreciate folks who came in and hit the like button just on GP. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate you all. We have 140 folks in the room, and 90 folks hit the like. We appreciate you. 50 folks is on strike. That's all right. Peace and blessings to you, Aracard. Peace to you, Smitty Bow. Sister Tanya, 720, Versatile Vision, 720. Peace and blessings to you. That's, I forgot you had another name too. Sister Donata, peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you, Sister Jessica. Peace and blessings, Sister Kai. Peace to you. God is real. D. Scott, peace to you and welcome again. Peace to you, Sister Nocturnal Nicole. Peace to you, Brother San Pablos. Sister Kega Kong, peace and blessings to you. Hollywood Hawkins, peace and blessings to you. Good to see you in attendance too. Sister Cookie Cruncher, good to see you in attendance. Sister Judge Lynn Bond in the house, what's going on? Beyond Blessed in the house, good to see you. T Talks the Real. Thank you for educating us ignorant Negroes. Sister Vanette, good to see you. I wouldn't know what in the world I'd do without you. T Talks. I've been walking around this world, act backward. Peace and blessings to you, Sister Jazz. Copper Tone, what's going on? Peace and blessings. And Brother Dr. Dave, good to see you. Sister Tyra, peace and blessings to you. Mr. Shepherd, peace and blessings to you, my brother. And prayers still going up and been going up for your friend who recently lost their child. That's devastating. Infant child. Right? Peace and blessings to you, nephew Kenyatta, right? That's Grace. But you're right. Lucifer is nothing in comparison to the creator of all things. T-Talk. Now you talking the real. Now you talking my talk. Peace and blessings to you, Sister Lisa. And peace and blessings, Brother John. Brother John Meters in the house. Scoville 7 is in the house. Peace and blessings. Good to see you. Spring Rain. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. Good to see you in attendance. No. You know how to pronounce that without sounding vulgar. Peace to you, Sister Suzette. I never miss you again, I bet. Because you will fuss and fret. Peace to you, Sister Latoya. I'm looking through here. And there's Big Nephew Jeremiah Isaiah. Good to see you. Peace and blessings to you. And God bless you, Brother Philip. God bless you too. Okay. Nata Nicole, peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you, Big Sister Elaine. Good to see you in the house. Peace, S. Maurice. Good to see you. As always. You always have good things to add to the conversation. Very knowledgeable. I appreciate it. Peace and blessings to you, Mike Jr. Always a blessing to see you here. You have great comments. It tickles me from time to time. Let me see. Sister Natasha, good to see you in the house. Rayanak 817, okay. Okay. The Not So Hidden Truth, peace and blessings. Sister Lisa, I think I said hi to you already. Okay. Cat Dizzle in the house, good to see you. Sister Cat in the house. As Marie said, unplug them, you got to break down family matters one night. So much duality there. Okay, well, maybe I'll jam it in with 227 and Amen. I actually wrote something on 227 and Amen for y'all some time ago, but I couldn't bring myself. I just couldn't bring myself turn the whole show around tonight and just do the 227 and Amen. Because yes, I found, whatever you look at, I could do one on Sanford and Son and Good Times. I already had that worked out in my head, but I actually wrote down some stuff on Amen and 227. Interesting, they both came on the Sabbath day. 2, 2, and 7 is 11. Duality. No. We're going to stick to the script tonight. Peace and blessings to you. Oakland, California, Hebrew. Next time I do this, I should play some music. I'm almost at the top, I think. No, I'm not, because I haven't seen Brother Mr. Joe at all. I know I saw Big Nephew V. I saw him up there. Okay, wait a minute. Turkeys. Okay. Let me see. Hollywood Hawkins. Okay. So I'm not missing nobody. I will. Tony Rumble, peace and blessings to you. You know what? Hold on. What do you that was Craig T. Nelson from Coach. Thank you, Tony Rumble. Right. I got him confused with Cosmo, didn't I? Thank you, Sister B. Sister B in the place to be. Big Sister B. Thank you for that correction. Craig T. Nelson. Coach. Thank you. Well, I asked y'all. I couldn't remember. I.C. Peace and blessings. Alpine DZ. Peace and blessings. My brother Joe. Brother Minister Joe on the floor. And by now, somebody knew it probably spoke. Peace to you, J. Jones. Okay. Leoism, peace and blessings. I'm gonna catch somebody I haven't seen on anything. Let's see here. Yo-Jo, Sister Yo-Jo, peace and blessings to you. Sister Damali, peace and blessings to you. Big nephew M Easy in the house, good to see you. And I know you're working it out, I appreciate you. Yo Folks 3, peace and blessings to you. Welcome to everybody that's new. Peace and blessings to you, David Taylor. Hello, peace and blessings, Sadie Mae. Okay. Peace and blessings to you, Brother Daniel. And if I missed you this time, please don't think I was trying to dish you this time. I'll catch you on the comeback. Chocolate E, let's ride. Peace and blessings to you. Friday Child. Okay. I'm seeing folks I've missed here. Grace, keep it together. Peace and blessings to you. And peace and blessings, each one shall teach one. Peace and blessings to you as well. Welcome, everybody. Mm-hmm. 21G Wash, I think I spoke to you. Yahya Abdul Kabir Bey, peace and blessings to you. Certainly, you can join, I suppose. And I don't see Melody's Child. And I want to make this announcement too for everybody in here. And I don't see Big Nephew Ronell. And Kobe. Maybe they'll catch us. Maybe they'll catch us on the flip side. And how could I forget Rihanna? Be in the place to be. Whisper Shout, peace and blessings to you. Name has a prayer request. Says my family's been under attack by witches. Peace and blessings. Okay, we will put you on our prayer request list. Write me, tell me more about it, so we can be more specific with prayer. At brothermentheo@gmail.com. Please write me in detail in your email. The more details, the better. That gives me more to work with. If it's anything I can do at all, it might not be nothing I can do. But I'll try if the Lord gives me words, most certainly. Big Nephew Kelvin, peace and blessings to you. Good to see you. Big Nephew Thomas, good to see you. Yep. All right. So that's good enough, I think. Oh no, a Big Nephew Drew Fufu. Happy birthday to your brother. And thank you for dropping in. Consistent member of our family. Sister Nikisha, peace and blessings to you. Part of our Detroit family. And Sweet Lady 0512, peace and blessings to you. Cool Hall, peace and blessings. And blessings to you, Sister Denise. And Big Nephew Demetrius, good to see you. Sister Nikki said the aunties lost her mail today. I went up there and talked to them aunties. And the big boss one told me that I had to have my digital receipt, which I knew I had to have. And I do not know where it is. I believe I erased it trying to make room in my emails. Okay. Not your average. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. Good to see you in attendance. Sister Aaron in the house. And there's Brother Elijah. Peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. Good to see you in attendance. Says he's been feeling true breakthroughs. Praise God. Hallelujah. All praise and glory to the Father, mandatory. Oh, there's Kobe. I'm sorry. Had to go all the way back up to the top. He might have fell asleep. He said, man, you play music for 20 minutes, then you talk for 20 minutes. I ain't got time. Beyond blessed, if I didn't mention you, peace and blessings to you too. And I bring it, peace and blessings to you. I gotta get up to the very top. So hard-headed, I just can't stop. And there's Samuel Gonzalez. Good to see you, Sam G, in the place to be. We're missing Jonathan G. And that's the very top. Leo Wisdom was number 1 today. After that was Sister Donata D. And Sister Suzette was number 3 in the place to be. An honorable mention in 4th place was our Sister God is Real D. All right, now. That's it. Uh, 720 said, did I catch where you dropped your previous name earlier? You told me in the email what the previous name was, and I forgot. Slanging Dope? Oh, no. No, I'm thinking about moving weight. Let me make sure. Let me see here. Okay, all right, y'all. Now. Okay, all right. All right, now. Okay, for the next offering for tonight's next offering. Now, I'm going to tell you what I think the best thing or the most meaty thing that we can watch. J. Meyer, MK Ultra documentary is it's condensed. It's an hour long, but it's very thorough, and it gives you all the essentials. So I wanted to show that, but before we get to that, because that's long, that's an hour long, so maybe we'll end with that and some discussion concerning that. We'll go right into some of the notes there. But the next thing I want to show you this predictive programming, if I can. Always heavyweight jamming. And there's my sister Rebecca Mays Martin. Peace and blessings to you, Sister Minister Rebecca. Good to see you. God bless you, woman of God. And peace and blessings to you, Sister Stephanie Watkins. Peace and blessings to you, Sister Steph. I'm sure I missed somebody else. And Sister Stacy, hello to you. If y'all see folks speak to them too. Oh, yeah. Melody's child. Listen, somebody erased their prayer request. Now, if I get down to the bottom and find out who it is, listen, nobody shoot nobody that's friendly. The wrenches are for trolls and trolls only. If you make a mistake, and you can. I've made a mistake several times on these live streams, especially when I first started, and was shooting innocent bystanders. If you do that, let it be known. Hey, I think I erased someone's comment. Let it be known. If you think that you blocked somebody by mistake, let it be known. And if you did it on purpose, you're wrong. Don't erase nobody's prayer request. And don't block nobody that ain't no pest. People can ask questions. They can be as curious as they want to, as long as they're respectful in here. And that's what it is. That's what it is. We're so glad that you can join us, Sister Minister Rebecca. And that's what it's going to be. You're going to treat everybody in here with respect. All right, now. Well, there'll only be one strap on deck. Dun, dun. Okay, so let's look at this this predictive programming. Please believe me. Yeah, I'm trying not to do it. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to be the only one strapped and capping. This one is good. Like I said, this is the guy. Perhaps you've seen him before. I don't know his stance, his point of view. I heard a Christian flat earther. Oh, yeah. And I was going to maybe, for the second one, you know how we usually try to do 2 sessions. You know, the first major session, which is this one. Then maybe for the next session, perhaps. If you're ready to talk about flat earth, or why it's even a conversation, if you don't know that, I feel that I have great explanation now. And again, not that I didn't get it before, I was a hollow earther in 94. But I couldn't explain it. You know a thing well when you can explain it. Now I can explain it and make it make sense to someone who just want to know, why is they talking about this? Brother Theo, why are they talking about this? Just like when I did the video for, is he or she? I just want to explain. When somebody say, why they say Michelle is a man? I just want to explain for my people. In a nice, cool, down-to-earth manner that everyone can digest. And that's what I'm going to do for Flat Earth, to my best ability. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Maybe like I said, that'll be the second one. That will be the second one. That's right, with great power comes great responsibility. And now, this is going to rock your knot. This is going to rock your knot to see how many different ways and how many different times. Now, again, we like to look at how long this deception has been going on. How long do you think they were planning? Let's say the most commonly predictive programmed event was 9/11. It's going to blow your mind. And the Mandela effect in the Book of Enoch. Somebody remind me. I didn't write that down. Mandela effect in the Book of Enoch. Okay, let's go. I'm talking about Kool-Aid, you make me thirsty. Right on Spring Rain. Check it out. Look at how much there was, though. You would never think it was this much for this long in this many different outlets and media.
ODD-TV.
You want grape, not drink. You want grape juice, not grape drink. Man. Get your life.
$1949, Porky Pig and Charlie Dog cartoon.
Look! What's that? Look! It's the towers! They're falling! Ah!
1963, Wonder Woman comic book cover. 1970, 30 Seconds Over New York, book by Robert Bacard. 1973, Godzilla vs. Megalon, movie poster. 1973, Superman comic. 1975, Cracked magazine cover.
Okay, now, let's examine a couple of these. So you can see the depths. I want you to see the depths of mind control predictive programming. How far they'll go. Now this was the competition to Mad Magazine, and just in general. Now oftentimes you'll find several things in one shot. Let me see. I was looking for. Oh, okay. It says, in this issue we destroy Earthshake. That's what I was looking for. And in each of them, you'll see these extra things too. Let's not miss it here. Godzilla versus Megalodon. What? Again, giant against giant. The ultimate battle. What giant against what giant? The giant of the Middle Eastern terror zeitgeist versus the giant of the superpower that is the United States of America. The giant of the strong man demon, or the power, the principality over the Middle East versus the giant over versus the giant of the fallen angel, or the spirit over this new Babylon. Old Babylon versus new Babylon. The old world versus the new world. Again, symbolic in more ways than just one. As the Twin Towers were symbolic of this Hermetic idea in and of itself. The Twin Towers, it represented Gemini. This is the birth of the supreme being, who is the offspring of the sun god and the moon goddess. When the sun god and the moon goddess mate, their offspring is this supreme being. However, this supreme being is psychotic, double-minded. James 1:8. It is indeed unstable in all of its ways. You see it time and time again. The marriage of the women who belong to moon goddess cults, like a Barbara Bush, to a man who belongs to a sun god cult, like a George Bush. And then they have a little psychotic child, like a George Bush Jr. Just an example. But this is the idea. Aries representing the alpha male. Taurus representing the alpha female, as we're now coming into the spring. Those two seasons get together. Those two quote-unquote zodiac signs, those two spirits get together. The spirit of the male and the female get together and cause creation, which makes things spring up. The creativity of the springtime. The flowers is popping off. The colors is popping off. The young ladies and sisters and brothers are popping off. They are feeling good. They start to show off and wear their best clothes. Guys is driving around with their cars now, hooked up. They've been waiting all winter time to come out. So again, it's this time of birth, and this birth is representative again by astrology. They are into astrotheology. So by their standards, they're looking at this thing as these twins represent this perfect union of the mother god. Of the mother goddess, who is the moon mother goddess, represented by Ishtar and the like, and the solar father god, who is always represented by Osiris, Nimrod, Asur, and the male gods that rule the pantheons, like Aries, which is a fire sign, again representative of that sun, that fire. And so you have this offspring. The offspring is the twins. Now, you have a couple depictions to look at. You have the depiction that is one body with two heads. In the case that they have a single child, and in that mythology, it's cut one way. Then you have the case where you have two bodies, one male and one female. This is still symbolic of a conflict in entertainers such as Prince, which we will be looking at in alignment with his death date, which our sister here on the channel turned me on to. I Would Die For You is a proclamation of his date of death. He says, I will die 4/21, right? Isn't you the 21st letter? I got that wrong last time. But anyhow, so I'm ready. She's ready. We're going to have that show as promised, but we wanted to do it in alignment with, closer to that date. So, which happens to fall on a Saturday. That date actually falls on a Saturday. Okay, and as stated before, this is somebody who worked on his team, and has I vetted that and have been shown and heard everything that I needed to see and hear. So that's going to be quite a delight, and we're going to learn quite a bit. Okay, we're going to learn quite a bit. So yeah, but anyway, he also, we just got through talking about who? Robin Williams, representing that duality. What does the duality really represent? The 11? What does it really represent? Hold on before we see, I don't just play somebody else's stuff here. I make it better. Hold on. Wait a minute. All by the will of the Creator. Hold on. Oh, no. We don't want to do the slow roll. Yeah, okay. All right. Sure. Okay, fine. What is the 11? The Twin Towers representing the 11. The L even. Even with L. L11. Spelling certified. L even. It is the combination of the human being and the spirit, making them the wizard. So 11 becomes the number of the wizard, which is the number of duality, because the wizard, the psychic, the sorcerer has no power. The Jedi has no power. Their only power is by way of the Force, and the Force is the spirit, of course, the only source of their supernatural powers and gifts. So L11, which again is the way we say it in this language, or 11, and they make you say it a certain way, like they make you say coincidence a certain way, so you don't pick up coincide in the word, which will assist you in the true meaning of the word, so you will not dismiss incidents that relate to other incidents. As a human being, you're supposed to take two things that relate and draw some conclusions from those two things. It's the reason why the Father showed you that these two things related in the first place. So they make you say coincidence instead of coincidence, like they make you say 11 instead of L even. Now, if you realize L even, from their point of view, their perspective is always trying to alchemically turn themselves, their base selves, not base metals to gold, but their base selves to God. Minus the L. Take the L out of gold. So L even, to make yourself even with the Lord. Now, Hermetic theater, again, we're always talking about Hermes. That is the symbol for Janus and Hermes. Relate because in Hermes we find the original representation for Gemini. In Hermes thrice great representation for Gemini. I was looking to see any additional symbolism in there, because Wonder Woman represents the Queen Mother Goddess. So yes, Steve, stop me before I grow any larger, right? Before the whore of Babylon gets any larger, right? But so the 11, this duality, the two pillars in Masonry, the 11, darkness and light, the 11. To their idea that they're neither male or female, like their Baphomet representation of the devil, which has both breasts and a phallus. They say male and female. See the duality. Dealing with both sun magic and moon magic, or sun worship and moonlight rituals, the duality. Believing that, like Drake, you could kill off a young rapper, Fredro, or some other bro, but you can do what you do in the rituals and potentially murder individuals as long as you can hand out $1 million and be, lauded for your good works. They believe they can even it out. Sure, I ate a couple of baby backs, but I'm giving to the Y in my old neighborhood. I'm building the old Y up. Right. So you find this duality. This is why it's such a big deal. This is why the 11 is such a big deal. This is why reading about Marvin Jan was such a big deal. That same duality. Janus, the project Janus, the being Janus. This is what these Hermetic talks are all about. This is all is culminating into one big overstanding. At least it should. You should recall, if you do not. We've broken down Janus many different ways. Janus, we relate Janus not just to Gemini, but to genius. Janus is where genius comes from. It's where Jinn comes from. It's where Gemini comes from. Gemini is where Jiminy comes from. Jiminy Cricket is the entertainer. If you recall, he sings and dances with that Project Umbrella, y'all. And old Jiminy Cricket, Jiminy is Gemini. Again, another diction play. So why they call it the dictionary instead of the definitionary. They make you say it a certain way. Why? Because we're talking about spells, incantations, and vibrations. You can have a word like soul. How is it spelled? So, well, which one do you mean? They all actually came from one root. There was one tone. It was a tone. And usually words that are spelled, words that sound the same, have a relationship, even though they lie and say that they do not. What a coincidence, these two words sound exactly alike. You take soul, you got S-O-L, you got S-O-L-E, and you got S-O-U-L. Well, they all will, again, there's always one root. But they play these games with the letters, the numbers, and the names. But here we're looking at the faces and the duality play. Now, the laugh now, cry later is the same symbol. You got a Gemini friend that's got that tattoo on her shoulder. Shoulder big. Look like a lamb shoulder. You can see the tears really well. But laugh now, cry later. Same thing. Again, pointing back to Hermes. Who is Hermes? Hermes thrice great. Now, there is debate. They will immediately relate Hermes thrice great or the Greek god Hermes to the Egyptian god Tahuti. But I maintain that that's a lot of fooey. There's some tricknology involved in mythology. Pickenology. I'll wait. Pick me a nice pure ology. I'll wait. I ain't got time. So, yes, also in mythology, it is my contention that as the representation of the offspring, Horus is more related to Janus, Gemini than the rest. This offspring represents the Antichrist figure who will be double-minded and unstable in all his ways, who will also not have the natural affection for women that one who is half woman, half man would experience. He will be out of his mind and dual-natured. He will be a performer, an actor, and hypocrite. Remember, we looked at that in one of our first weeks. What does that have to do with, Brother Theo? The original word for actor, hypocrite. A hypocrite was a person that says one thing and does another. Two-sided, two-faced, right? Double-minded. Now, let's see. We looked at Manny Faces the toy, also a representation of that. But what is it to mean to you and I? It is to mean this is you for real. This is you for real. Your real name is Ralph Roberts. This is you on Facebook. Excuse me. This is you for real. Nice and clean cut. Looking a little Swedish even. No disrespect to our friends from Sweden. I mean Swedish, not from Sweden. Sweet-ish. Sugar in your tankish. But here, this is Brother Roberts here. What's his name was? Ron Roberts, okay? That's what I'm saying it is now. Ron Roberts here. That's who he is in real life. He goes to school, he's clean cut, he does what he's supposed to do. He takes out the trash, he listens to his mama, he listens to his wife. He do what he's supposed to do, he lives a nice square life. L7, right? In the Brotherhood on Thursday nights when they invite the strippers to the lodge meetings. This is him here. Up in college when he's with his frat brothers. This is him here. On Facebook where he's double R, the superstar, never loving these hoes. Roberts. This is him right here. They want you to create within yourself the double mind of the Antichrist. That offspring of the sun god and the moon goddess. Blended together, creating this double-minded monster, this monstrosity of duality. Unable to discern good from evil, darkness from light, or male from female. Okay? This is what it is. This is the Hermetic play. Now, let's jump back here and make it clear. Oh, yes. We've got a couple of good ones. Okay, now, we looked at the Cracked magazine. Okay. The earth is split there. Wow. Okay, now, here we go. Oh, excuse me. You did note, sorry, the most notable part is the airplane lodged inside of the World Trade Tower right here. Okay? That's predictive programming personified. Peace and blessings to you, Sister Julie. Now, Sister Julie, when you gonna make that mathematics movie? I will assist you. I want you to get cracking on it so that we can present it here on this forum. And if there's anything I can do to help, if you can write out the treatment, write out what you want to say or the narration. I'll narrate it. I'll put it up. I'll edit it. You just send me everything. You want to narrate it yourself? Excellent. Send me the footage or send me your raw footage and whatnot. I will edit it. I'll put it together. I want you to get that done. And you said for us not to let you run. Okay? Now, things are going real fast. Very good, Mr. Shepherd. Yes. Mr. Shepherd says, Brother Theo, is that why all the hood parties is at the lodge so they can soak up the evil spirits? Absolutely. So y'all partied at the Masonic Temple many times. Not to mention we graduated from there. I remember going to parties at the Masonic Temple. I didn't know what it was for. Okay? Yep. When I was a young lad. Yep. Okay. So let's go to the next one now. So yeah, so however you would like to do it, I just wanted to remind you, Sister Julie, from the teaching community. Okay? Yes, Mad's competition. It was whack. This was whack. It's bootleg Mad magazine. Okay.
1976, 9/11.
We're not friendly.
A book by Thomas Chastain. 1970.
Hey, Cookie Cruncher. No, excuse me, Cookie Monster. This is Cookie Monster. Cookie Cruncher, how's your mom? He's crunching the cookies, though, awful good here. 2 pillars. That's right. That's right, Hollywood. The year 1976. You hear me? October 1976. Very good. Look at the eclipse. Who said that? Right on, Boaz and Jackin. Sister Lisa, on point. Excellent catch. Look at the eclipse. Yep, they was letting us know. Cole?
6. Sesame Street.
Hold on, we missed one, didn't we? Wowzers. Ain't that something T-Talks? You ever heard tell us such a thing?
1976.
Now, hold on, we skipped over this like this didn't happen.
9/11. A book by Thomas Chastain.
Okay. Unseen Hand. Is that the trace? Well, that's the New York skyline. Interesting. All right. Let's read one. It says the Christmas bomber has the perfect gift for New York City. 12 days of uninterrupted terror. Suddenly, New York's hottest line will be the emergency number 911. The shock-a-second super thriller by Thomas Chastain, best-selling author of Pandora's Box.
1976. Sesame Street magazine cover.
Pretty much look, he out of his mind. That's the duality right there. Look at his eyes. He don't know if he coming or going. He knew something was wrong with it. He high off shook all the time. He's high as a kite. He's high as a Georgia pine. Look at him. He is high. He's high as a giraffe's eye. Look. That's why he's always hungry.
1976. Spidey Super Stories. Comic book cover.
You see that old mobster there? I forget his name. Oh, Kingpin. Yeah, he was a mobster. Breaking the tower. He got the towers in his hand. Now, one reason we can use some logic and we can say, because the Twin Towers were a representation of the Twin Pillars, and because of the importance of masonry in this country, and most everything that we've seen had Masonic power pushing it or promoting it. Every cover we've seen, every advertisement we've seen, it's got Masonic power behind it. Naturally, the two pillar symbol in New Babylon's actual capital would be a great symbolic structure to depict in a variety of ways. Right? Let's continue.
1978. Super Friends TV show. The episode entitled Monolith of Evil.
Jesus, Spider-Man dabbing. Oh.
1978. Dr. John. City Lights album cover.
Interesting.
1979. Meteor movie poster.
Sean Connery. That starred Sean Connery and Natalie Wood. It's 5 miles wide. It's coming at 30,000 miles per hour. Sound like Aretha in the pink Cadillac. And there's no place on earth to hide. Yes, Lord. That's why I'm staying inside. Let's see what else we got here.
1979. Supertramp. Breakfast in America album cover.
You'll miss this now. You'll miss it if you're not sharp. Supertramp. You see the World Trade Tower representation there. She is a mock representation of the Statue of Liberty. And here, if you see it in reverse in a mirror image, you see that's 911 directly over the towers. The way that the bottom part of the U is obstructed by the view of the depiction of the towers here. And the P, when it's reversed, also missing its bottom part. This is a representation of 9/11. Isn't that sick? That's sick. That's a sick one. Right on. The color orange also. Right on. Representing the mating with Lucifer in the secret society. The joining together of the the human being with the incarnate or the representation of Lucifer as the sun god, the yellow and the red coming together to make the orange, the members of the Red Lodge having to sleep with a representation, a male representation of Lucifer in the flesh. Let's continue. That's right, Clockwork Orange. Right on, Cat Dizzle. We sharp tonight. I feel like we sharp tonight, y'all. Powerful.
1979. Saga. Images at Twilight. Album cover.
Have mercy.
1979. Pakistan International Airlines ad.
Very appetizing. Pakistan International Airlines. Very advertising. The shadow looming on the buildings, giving the indication of a plane on a collision course headed straight towards them. Let's continue.
1983. Def Leppard. Pyromania album cover.
We remember depictions of that on 9/11. This is a depiction of one of the trade tower buildings. Something has hit it. It's in the crosshairs here. Perhaps more evidence to the fact that we know planes didn't hit it, and there, I guess now the biggest controversy now for some is, well, what exactly did happen. Most folks have went on ahead with the idea that Bush's brother's company had set up explosives in the building ahead of time and things of that nature. There are also folks who talk about scalar weaponry. Whatever the case may be, we see pyromania, being crazy about fire and the destruction by it. And we can certainly say that the megalomaniacs that are the powers that should not be are pedophiles and maniacs of very different nature.
(1983), a book by Jose Borja.
Now, what makes these interesting too is the breaking points. Very interesting. The breaking point. Isn't this the tower that got hit first? The accuracy and the breaking points. Shows you that was a grand production. That was theater at its finest on that Tuesday morning. On that cold September day, on that Tuesday morning, when I was reading that book the wrong side up to those poor little colored children, I knew I had a great sense of duty that day. And I couldn't wait to go to the toilet so I can get loose from it. Turkey.
1985. G.I. Joe. Episode 46.
You just stand right there, Sonny. Look straight ahead and hold still whilst we scan you.
Hey! Transaction approved. Subject's retinal scan matches no
Right on,
known
Scoville.
dissident, subversive, or enemy of state on file. Have a nice day.
What did we discern? Was the teacher in on that? Did the teacher just happen to have those as the spelling words for that day? Plain, hit, steal? Or was she was she in on it? Was she a member of the Boule? Was she a member of the Coven? Was she in on it? Or did they hand her that spelling lesson that day? Did the superintendent show up and say, Miss so-and-so, Miss Johnson, we have a very special lesson plan that we want you to follow for today. Just for today only, though. What do you think? Dr. Dave says, I bet she was handed it. That makes sense, doesn't it? But look how this G.I. Joe cartoon ends up. Okay, now, retina scan. I used to watch G.I. Joe. It's 1985. I was 12 years old. Wasn't no retina scans. We thought. Wink. Let's run it back one more time because I was running my mouth. 2 more times. Okay, let's go right here. start it over. Bam.
1983. A book by Jose Borja.
Good questions, y'all, and observations.
1985. G.I. Joe. Episode 46.
You just stand right there, Sonny. Straight ahead and hold still while we scan you.
Hey! Transaction approved. Subject's retinal scan matches no known dissident, subversive, or enemy of state on file. Have a nice day.
Hey! Come back here! This money ain't no good! It's U.S. dollars! Absolutely worthless!
19.
Now, they used to tell us in the Dr. York classes and things. I remember G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe was said to have been, and I've heard it other places. I've heard it credible places since then, okay? But G.I. Joe was preparation for a future generation. It was preparation for folks my age to accept the war on Iraq when it would come. Remember, Albert Pike had already, quote-unquote, prophesied the three wars, or rather, he already knew of the plot to create the three wars, the three world wars. So they already knew that certain wars would happen by certain time periods. So by the time I was graduating Mumford, Desert Storm was what time it was. It was a very real danger of, me and the other young men in my class going to Desert Storm. But they had prepared us psychologically for warfare when we was kids and in our preteens through G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe showed the stealth bomber. Cobra Commander had a particular plane. It was expensive. I didn't have it, but my cousin had it. It was a black stealth fighter. That was Cobra Commander's personal plane. This is before any admission of a stealth fighter from our government. Hasbro had to be working with the government. Have you ever seen the back of the package that the G.I. Joe men used to come in? It used to come with a file card on the back, and that file card would list all of that particular soldier's special training, where he went to school at, his vital information, his height, blah, 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 his eye color, all this type of stuff. I remember for Snake Eyes, it would say unknown, 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 everything except for his martial arts skills. It'll list all his martial arts skills. 7th degree black belt in this, blah, blah, blah. Sergeant E5, blah, blah. All of these military terms. I remember putting the decals on my little G.I. Joe Jeeps and stuff like that. It was very detailed, down to the letter, because they wanted you to be used to that military perfection, and they wanted you to be used to the military way and the military protocol. Now, if you look at G.I. Joe with eyes today, the cartoon I'm not talking about my big cousins, G.I. Joe men. Okay, I'm not talking about them. They all had bully fullies. Okay, and little short naturals. It was white men, but they had these little short naturals with real fuzzy hair. That's what my big cousin G.I. Joes looked like. My G.I. Joes was smaller and more futuristic looking, with the kung fu grip and many weapons. But and also a great leaning toward the occult. But if you look at it with today's eyes, you'll see G.I. Joe was like a resistance force. Okay, we'll think of Cobra Commander and them like terrorists. But there was this or this special force that was able to go against these terrorists, these hidden terrorists, using all sorts of means and things that the ordinary military didn't have access to. I mean, they was always shooting lasers and not bullets. But anyway, I digress. But that was predictive programming personified. Period. G.I. Joe the cartoon. Period. Predictive programming, as much as Jim was. All the little Hasbro cartoon, the Hasbro toys turned cartoons. It was a package deal too. That's why you had the same artist do Jim, do Transformers, do G.I. Joe, and I believe do Thundercats. You know, because there was this package deal. You know, all of these toys and cartoons were developed by the same teams of people, and they were all part of this plot to really indoctrinate my generation into the things that would come. Now, here for Daredevil, interesting is the titles on the comic itself. First of all, Daredevil, but the one-eye symbolism is here. We'll see the Vesca Pisces and the 3 rings here. And the title of the comic is Apocalypse. The number 227, we just got through talking about that, didn't we? I didn't know that was going to be there. But what did we say about the 227? We said 2, 2, and 7 is 11. Once again, duality. Let's continue.
1986, Daredevil comic book cover. 1986, Real Ghostbusters, Season 1, Episode 12. 1986, Dream Machine.
There's computers where the resolution
Them
is so
G.I. Joes
high
had a little short natural.
that you can never tell that it was ever touched by anything, which raises the whole question of photography as evidence of anything.
You know.
I don't even think people are aware of how much computer graphics is used today. There's just a whole question now of what is real.
Short natural like a Feeny or...
Create a new reality by adding an erupting volcano to the San Francisco skyline.
Florida Evans. Short natural. I don't know why they had them.
Or remove the World Trade Center from the New York City skyline.
Thank you, Father.
1987, The Squeeze movie cover.
Big Nisimani's in the house. Good to see you. Peace and blessings to you.
1987, cover of Fortune International magazine.
Sister Minister Imani. Interesting the dual meanings in this. You know, with the S, okay, this is a dollar sign. Move out the way. This is a dollar sign. This is a representation of a dollar sign made by the contrail coming from behind a plane. As it swerves, it looks like to just miss the Twin Towers. Now this S goes over the top of the 11, that is the twins. Okay, the duality. 11 is twin ones. In case somebody missed that, okay. The S goes over the top of the 11 to be reminiscent of the dollar sign, which on the actual dollar sign, that S would represent a snake in the origin or in the first dollar sign. So I think that's interesting too, because it was snakes on a plane, or it was snakes behind, making us believe that planes had crashed into the Twin Towers,
1988, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Season 2, Episode 7.
Oh, bad news, Master Splinter. Shredder is up to something, but he ran off before we could discover what.
All we know is it had something to do with the Twin Towers.
Sooner or later, he will reveal his plan.
Like, what do you suppose Shredder's up to this time? Michelangelo, you heard April's message. He's been spotted on the roof of the World Trade Center.
It's for sure he's not there for the view.
Hey! What is it? Hang on! We're gonna crash!
1988, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Interesting for a computer video game that simulates flight. or that simulates teaching you how to fly a plane. Interesting choice for a cover package.
1989.
Now, brothers and sisters, peace and blessings. Lady Soul is in the house. Good to see you, sis. This is the Killer Dealer. Brothers and sisters, this part here, if you wasn't paying attention before, explain this one. Explain this one. Here we go. I'm just going to let it play, okay? Explain this one. Ready? Ready? Here we go. All right.
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Chickpea in the place to be. Check it out.
1989. WWF.
Twin Towers, take it, Meiji. It's with me at this time, the Slickster, a key of the African dream and a big boss man. Gentlemen, is this the match you wanted all along, or are you going to continue your terrorist attacks on the mega powers and the defenseless Elizabeth? What do you want? All right, thank you, Vince McMahon, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, the lovely Elizabeth. Three people working as one with one goal in mind, to defeat, or should I say demolish, the Twin Towers. Hulk Hogan, you talked about the Triangle of Love. Jesse+ventura says there's a problem. Explain.
Well, you know me, Gene. You get right to the heart of the matter with that question, brother. It's the love, man, that's going to supercharge the mega powers and tear down the Twin Towers.
This man, what were your thoughts then?
Oh, yeah, Mean Gene, I can still feel the pain when that cold steel bit into Miss Elizabeth's wrist right there. And when her muscles were torn, my muscles were torn. When her bone was bruised right there, I felt the pain. Hulk Hogan felt the pain, and I can still feel the pain right now. And Hulk Hogan, that pain won't stop until the Twin Towers come crumbling down. Oh, yeah, right now tonight on prime time, yeah.
1989. Jason.
Wow. The level of staging continues to amaze me. That to me was amazing. That was an amazing level of staging. Mean Gene's words. Mean Gene was the setup man. So he was, wow. Crazy. All right, now, let's move on. Me too, Beyond Blessed. This would knock me out, for real. I didn't know what to say. But, oh, yeah.
Can still feel the pain right now, and Hulk Hogan, that pain won't stop until the Twin Towers come crumbling down. Oh, yeah, right now tonight on prime time, yeah.
1989. Jason Takes Manhattan. Movie poster.
Friday the 13th, Masonic Connection. Masonic Connection. Why do we call that an unlucky day? Someone, sharp knives. Sharp knives. Masonic Connection all the way. And, even the idea of the serial killer hero, the serial killer anti-hero. Who did you go to see when you went to go see Friday the 13th? Who did you go to see when you went to go see Nightmare on Elm Street? Who did you go see when you went to go see Hellraiser? So again, they had already been working their magic in changing the idea of a hero, Heru. From this goody two-shoes, good guy that always wears a white hat, to someone who's willing to do whatever is necessary to catch the bad guy. I call it the law and order theory. Law and order is on 132 times a day. I'm serious. Count it. Law and order is on 132 times a day. And we can argue about it like the Coming to America barbershop if you want to. It's on too much. My point is, Law and Order was Okay, that predictive programming, or what it's supposed to program the masses into, is an acceptance that if the police have to get this, especially SVU, the Sex Victims Unit, if the police have to catch this pedophile, if Ice-T has to fudge the evidence a little bit, if he has to plant something on this guy, huh? If Liv and the Joe Rogan looking guy, if they have to beat up a suspect a little taste who was abusing the elderly at a convalescent home, if they got to beat him up a little taste to make justice happen in 30 minutes, by golly, let them do it. Right? That was what that was for. So incrementally, little by little, they got us to accept more and more of a hero who will do whatever. It's the Dark Knight theory. In fact, the Dark Knight may have been the culmination or the epitome of that, or them finally pushing that out there on the public in a grand manner. But Friday the 13th, and that was part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. Okay. New York has a new problem. Again, they always extra with the Masonic double entendre or the Masonic double speak. Something that means two different things. Okay, like some of their names, Creflo Dollar. One example. Okay. Let's move on.
1991, Terminator 2.
This is a good one. Y'all. Not too bad. You've seen it before, but very subtle. Look, caution, 9/11. Well, I never. Now you have. Right on, Beyond Blessed. Yes, that's right. And Law and Order helps you buy into it emotionally. Very well said, Beyond Blessed, because they will tell you these are real stories taken straight off the news. I didn't see that on Friday, child. I gave up after 3, I think. 3 or 4. Or 5. I gave up.
1991, Spider-Man comic.
Let's see. Let's examine here. Let me see here. Oh yes, Kai Brown. Yes, Liv's mother's Mansfield, right? Somebody correct me. Liv from Law and Order. Yes, Mariska Hargitay. That's her name. Mariska Hargitay. Yep, that's right, Rihanna. Yep, Jane Mansfield. Right on. Mm-hmm. Who was a mind-controlled slave, personally programmed and initiated by Anton LaVey himself. He also programmed and initiated Marilyn Monroe. Jane Mansfield was kind of a Marilyn Monroe substitute. But yes, she was very dedicated. Anton LaVey says that Liv's mom, Mariska Hargitay's mom, I don't know how that name came to me. Ah! Have mercy, this head of mine. But I don't know how it works. Good luck to any of y'all. But anyway, Mariska's mom was very devoted and dedicated. Anton said that she had memorized whole parts of the Satanic Bible, if he didn't say the whole Bible itself. But here, let's look at the Spider-Man here. That's a question. Wait a minute. Trying to see here. Come, I can't see better than this. Can we zoom in or zoom out? Hold on one second. Zoom in, zoom out. No. Okay. To find the answer, we must look past the destruction to the floors just below the impact. To find the answer, we must look past the destruction, the smoke screen of all of the asphalt, or excuse me, of all of the concrete and the debris that was blowing down the street. Looked like fog, thick clouds of this smoke and debris, in order to keep you from being able to see. But to find the answer, we must look past the destruction to the floors just below the impact. It is here we find Cable and the rest of the surviving X-Force, okay? Let's see. Spider-Man.
1991, TetraStar video game.
Good night, Sister Lorraine. Thank you for joining.
1992, King of Monsters video game.
And thank you for the update. You're in our prayers.
1992, Rugrats Season 2, Episode 14.
His hair, Cynthia, Doc.
Of course you do. And if you're a good little girl,
A Teenage Nuclear Fusion Squad video game.
Well...
A Rocco Mr. X exploding smash-up doll. A Beverly Hills Cynthia lunchbox. A pony. And a 9/11 emergency surgical kit with working stethoscope.
1993, X-Men Season 1, Episode 12.
They want action. They want protection. They want revenge. Mutant control law is passed. Call it...
Good point, Brother Jonathan. That's the year that I graduated, and a year of duality, 1991. Yes, a lot of weird things did happen that 20 years before 9/11 occurred. Interesting. This is an interesting X-Men here, too. Lots of things hidden in X-Men, like all Marvel stuff.
Beverly Hills Cynthia lunchbox. A pony. And a 9/11 emergency surgical kit with working stethoscope.
1993, X-Men Season 1, Episode 12.
They want action. They want protection. They want revenge. Mutant control law is passed, calling for an army of sentinels.
Right. 10 years, my
They
bad.
march over the nation, seeking out mutants, hunting them down like animals.
Math.
Surrender, mutant. Some fight back. But not for long. The Sentinels herd the surviving mutants into detention camps. The camps are your final stop. You never leave. Never. But those who control the Sentinels don't stop with mutants. Eventually, they bring their new world order to all humans.
1993, Super Mario Bros. The movie. 1994, Iron Man cartoon, Season 1, Episode 5.
Unidentified warplane sighted heading for New York City.
Our detection system shows nothing. Mayday! Mayday! New York is under attack! Intercept and destroy!
A force field is shielding the warplane. It's getting through.
It's time. We will now strike at the heart of American defense and destroy the Pentagon with one swift and deadly blow.
1994,
Okay, what did you miss? What is the name of this video? Oh, predictive programming. How to? I'll say it again at the end, but I said it at the beginning too, so it's on record.
Aero Fighter 2 video game.
Hit that like if you've not done so, and if you simply forgot. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you a lot.
1994, Fantastic Four, Season 1, Episode 4.
And that's right, 10 years from 91
1994, Viceland magazine article.
to 2001, 10 years, not 20. I'm going to blame Brother Johnny. Brother Johnny, that's your fault. Now, Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead with Olive Tone flying around the Trade Centers in planes about to do some damage because Beavis has a bomb, both with the devil's horn hand symbols, which they threw up often on the show. But of course, at that time, we didn't know. We thought it was an innocent rock-on thing, and they were rock and roll heads, hard rock, heavy metal heads. They loved Guar. I had the Beavis and Butthead video game. Go figure. All right.
1994, Friends intro debut.
This is another cold one. This is really cold because you wouldn't have noted this part. Over the World Trade Centers end.
(1994) Deathstroke, the Terminator comic book cover.
And in post-apocalyptic depictions, they would often show damage to iconic landmarks and buildings, and the World Trade Center would always be among them, as often you would see Statue of Liberty, that iconic scene in Planet of the Apes when Charlton Heston realizes where he's at, that he's actually on Earth, post-apocalyptic Earth, and he sees the Statue of Liberty in shambles, and I think he begins to go into his damn yous or something, and you dirty apes, or something along that line.
1995, The Tick, Season 1, Episode 12.
We are under attack! Things so monstrous! Terror unleashed from the sacred cotton candy place of our dreams! If anyone is out there listening, get out of town before it gets to you! And I'm out of here!
1995, Hackers.
This one's pretty good too. Crash and burn.
1995, Philips Home Cinema commercial.
This is dumb.
Pictures so real you won't believe your eyes.
We'll be here when you come back.
Dolby Prologic surround sound so exciting your eyes won't believe your ears. Ultimate home cinema televisions from Philips, including 100 Hz flicker-free pictures and widescreens. Philips, let's make things better.
1995, Illuminati card game. (1996) The Long Kiss Goodnight.
1993. World Trade Center bombing, remember? During the trial, one of the bombers claimed the CIA had advanced knowledge. The diplomat who issued the terrorist visa was CIA. It's not unthinkable they paved the way for the bombing purely to justify a budget increase.
You're telling me that you're going to fake some terrorist thing just to scare some money out of Congress?
Well, unfortunately, Mr. Hennessy, I've no idea how to fake killing 4,000 people. So we're just going to have to do it for real. Oh, blame it on the Muslims, naturally. Then I get my funding. Good night, old girl.
1996.
Okay, before we go to the next one, and yes, Kat, Long Kiss Goodnight, and the one he's going to show from the Matrix. The one he's going to show from the Matrix is really good too. Lots we can build on from that. But I just wanted to say a little something on Stan Lee, as I've said it a few times here before. I was really curious about Stan Lee's role. I'm just talking to Kobe right now. The rest of y'all can fall back. I'm talking to my young brother Kobe. Young brother, I remember wondering to myself, what is Stan Lee's role in this thing here? Really, really and truly. I was excited about superhero movies when they first began to make them, because I come from the era where Christopher Reeve was laying on something, okay, laying horizontally on something, and they used a wind machine to make it seem like he could fly. So it was very limited. Lou Ferrigno, whole lot of slow motion action trying to make it look like he's leaping and throwing people further than what he is and stuff like that. So it was a lot of difficulty in trying to bring a superhero's supernatural strength and feats to the screen. The guy who played Superman, the one who they used to say he jumped out the window and committed suicide. I don't know if it was true, but back in the black and white days, I'm talking about like my daddy's generation. That guy too. They did what little bit they could do with the camera tricks that they could do back then. Okay, but once CGI and really CGI. Once CGI got popping, and Lucasfilm did their part with that. George Lucas and Lucasfilm helped to develop CGI and bring it to where it is today. So we're told. I believe it's demons, devils that aid these individuals and help them with this technology, just like the Fallen did in the very beginning. Especially because it has to do with Hermes and acting, and CGI and acting going hand in hand, and the deception of Hermes or Janus, the double-headed or double-minded one, or the two-faced one, is certainly in full effect when it comes to those movies. So, but I started wondering now, okay, so what's the harm in this? And Stan Lee and the others, because it's some DC comic movies and The Watchmen, is other folks beside Marvel chipping in. But I would dare say no one is as prestigious as Stan Lee. And this is what it came to me. Stan Lee's job is this. Stan Lee is to take the tales of the fallen, their offspring, the men of renown from Genesis 6, and to turn these tales into relatable, everyday tales of human beings reaching that alchemical goal, either through a radioactive spider bite, or through some other, or through gamma rays, radiation, or through some other means. They experience this alchemical transformation, which is the goal of the Mason, to be transformed into something godlike. Thor is even a god, flat out, from the Norse pantheon. So Stan Lee would take these gods, and Conan worshipped Kron, Conan the Barbarian, which came from Marvel Comics. And probably one of their first adaptations. That's probably one of Marvel's first adaptations to live screen, because Conan didn't have say laser weapons and things of that nature. All you needed was a muscle-bound guy that could look like a savage barbarian, and auto fit the bill. So, but yeah, Stan Lee's job is that. That's A, and then B is this: to take the story of the Masons and their amazing exploits, the things that they've done, the tales of renown concerning them from within their own lodges, and to take that history and glorify it, to take technologies and glorify it, to take certain occult mysteries and glorify Dr. Strangelove or Dr. Strange, whatever his name is. That's one of the weirdest or most occult things to come out of comicdom in a long time. But just the lycanthropy of it all, the mixture of animals and humans, the transhumanism of it all in Iron Man. He pushes the elite agenda and the Masonic agenda in a variety of ways on the supernatural tip. But guess what? Are Masons males or females? He aims it at the very youngest males so that they will love these tales. They will become enthralled with the idea of having powers beyond that of a normal human being. This opens them up to doing all the different things that the devil makes available for you in this world that can get you there. So he said, let him tell it. Amen.
This is a steal from Independence Day, but they show this briefly in the movie. "1997 Men in Black cartoon, Season 1, Episode 6.
Slim, remember those Twin Towers? Yeah, what about them? I don't think they're gonna be so tall anymore.
Oh, no.
1997, The Simpsons, Season 9, Episode 1.
This is
Oh, I'd love to see New York. We could all go with the bus company's special Super Sitter fare. $9.
High
This one's
five.
on me. Great.
And real quick, here's a clip from Season 21, Episode 20, which is a continuation.
In context, Hollywood, in context,
Is
certainly.
this what the framers of the Constitution would want? How many personal freedoms are we willing to give up in the name of security?
That blonde girl thinks she's smart, like us dark hairs.
1997,
I just
Extreme
spoke on Oprah
Ghostbusters, Season 1,
about 15
Episode
minutes ago.
38.
I'm afraid it simply retreated in order to regenerate and regroup, readying for another attack.
Manhattan. Guys, I think it's time for some serious firepower.
Folks suffering, buffering.
1997, German Mario Bros. Comic.
Oops.
1997, Emergency Response to Terrorism Self-Study.
Well, it's not coming from my end. I made sure we had extra gigs on my end, so I'm sorry about that.
1997, St. John's Cathedral.
Y'all aware of this? Y'all aware of this one here? Yes, Hollywood said when I was pointing out the relationship to comic books, that's why I was pointing that out. Why are comic books aimed at young men? And I explained what I thought comic books to be in the brotherhood dynamic of things, you know, from that worldview. And so I said, you know, it's no coincidence that comic books are aimed at young men, and they tell these exploits to try to help to get young men interested in being superhuman or being extra human, being able to be transhuman, or to go above and beyond what this world offers you through, you know, being a normal functioning human being, and also a Christian one at that. Stan Lee's tales are laden with the occult. We did the Black Panther breakdown. T'Challa is a la cat, okay, you know, which happens, you know, to coincide with the fact that they're worshiping Bast all through the Black Panther comic book. Remember, I said the Black Panther comic book depicts T'Challa's sister differently than the movie does. In the movie, she's depicted as some sort of technological genius. In the comic book, she is straight up a African witch who uses African witchcraft to aid her brother. So this is what you get from Stan Lee.
It has a Freemasonic sculpting depicting a disaster in New York.
This is the illest. That's the illest. Why is that on St. John's Cathedral?
1998, Armageddon.
Well, you know why? Because this is New York City. Anything could have happened. Look at that. Let me see. It could have been a terrorist bomb, to a dead body, somebody shot, stabbed, and it's probably...
Hold on. Isn't his name Mark Curry? Isn't he from Oakland? Is he supposed to be in relation to Steph Curry? I'm just curious. Do they say he's related to Steph Curry? Okay. Interesting. Because they do that in this game. They do that in this game. Honestly. It may sound like an LOL, But Reggie Bush and George W. Bush could very well be related. They do that in this game. Anyway.
Payday too. Somebody probably jumped to get that paycheck.
1998, The Parent Trap.
How weird is that? Extremely.
1998, a steal from the movie Godzilla. 1998, Pirelli Tires ad. 1999, Batman Beyond, Season 2, Episode 12.
Remind you of somebody? Another Dark Knight character?
He's gonna knock down the towers.
No doubt. That's right.
The towers are falling. Get away from there. No use pleading. You're dead.
$1999, 7 days.
The defensive missiles will stay close to the buildings, so try to stay with them.
What's going on?
Attaboy, Red.
Let me in, would ya?
Stand by, Nancy. That's it. That's it. Hang it tight. That's it?
Somebody saying that Black Panther was written by a black man. If that's what is going on, you talking about a screenplay, but the characters was created by Kirby and Lee, without a doubt. Kirby and Lee.
I'm so good at this.
And graphics suck. The best game show
Blaxploitation,
stuff.
2018.
You gotta know you won. You know, you gotta have fireworks,
Black
buzz or
Panther.
something, not just game over.
I'll see what I can do.
Can you say boule?
Red, let's get this equipment loaded and take our show on the road. Cool.
I come from I was born in 73. I remember black movies. People killed me talking about, it's good to see all these black people on screen. Ever heard of Coming to America? Harlem Nights. Ever seen a Spike Lee joint of any kind? Pick one. Mo Better Blues. That's a good one. School Days. Jungle Fever. Okay, okay, maybe not Jungle Fever. But you get the drift. Do the right thing and realize what blaxploitation is. Blaxploitation is when you take black people and you put them in something. You present it before the public and the masses as is something that's pro-black, but in reality, it's non-black folks who have a agenda to misalign or misrepresent black people in truth, but they pay black folks to be the figureheads or the faces spearheading the project. This is an old technique and an old tactic. Look at my Black Panther breakdown if you've not done so. It'll do you a world of good. It'll help you to see through this grand deception played on brothers and sisters from the hood. Thank you.
Early reports indicate more than 50 people killed, including many high-ranking officers and several hundred injured. How the missile got through air defenses surrounding the Pentagon is still the subject of much debate.
1999, Fight Club.
Let's do it again. Saturday night, Uptown Saturday night. Give me a break. Dolomite. Superfly. Same difference.
1999. The Matrix.
And Master P, I'm about it. Uh.
2000. Rugrats in Paris. 2000. The Patriot.
9 pounds, 11 ounces. That's perfect.
More like the Patriot Act. 2001. New York Magazine. Interestingly enough, it says, "Is there life beyond the boom?" And it also has the one-eye symbolism. 2001, March. The Lone Gunman.
You're saying our government plans to commit a terrorist act against a domestic airline?
There you go. Indicting the entire government as usual. It's a faction.
A small faction. For what possible gain?
The Cold War's over, John. But with no clear enemy to stockpile against, the arms market's flat. But bring down a fully loaded 727 into the middle of New York City, and you'll find a dozen tin-pot dictators all over the world just clamoring to take responsibility and begging to be smart-bombed.
I can't believe it. This is about increasing arms sales. When?
Tonight?
Good point, Sister Yojo. I do agree. I'm the first to say it. Tech is trick. The word tech, the word trick, and trick from trichinosis, all related.
We've got manual override.
In 2001, June, just months before the events took place. The Coupe, party music, album cover.
This was sick to me because I remember thinking of them as a real small time type of group. And at the time, my belief was that they weren't big enough to be in on anything. But that just goes to show you how I didn't understand controlled opposition at the time that this album came out. Because controlled opposition only works if you have controlled opposition in every section of society where your opposition could come from. Certainly the grassroots movements, the basement movements have to be opted as well. There was a scene in Fahrenheit 9/11 where they showed this little coffee and tea group that got together and talked about politics, and how the whole point of showing this segment in the movie was to show how thirsty the government actually is to get folks who you would think was too small time. You would think that as big and powerful as this beast is, they wouldn't be worried about a little small group of tea and crumpet tasters. But they were, and they sent an infiltrator. And that group did not know they had been infiltrated until the man who they knew by a whole nother name and who they knew by a whole nother occupation, the man was killed in a motorcycle accident or car accident. And they saw his face in the paper. Same first name, different last name. And they're like, this is such and such from our coffee cake group here. What's going on? We thought his last name was this, last name was that. And through reading the stories about him, they found out that he was actually a government agent who had been part of Homeland Security or something like it, to try to watch potential dissident groups and to infiltrate them and report on them. And that group was lightweight jamming. I had a group in my basement bigger than that in 2000. 2001, 2, and 3. But I digress. Now, Kanga Kong brought to mind, I was looking for it too. I was trying to find all these years I thought that was the dude. I thought that was the other dude in the coupe until I'm looking at this up close for the first time ever. I was thinking about something, man, that dude looking mad Swedish and funny on that cover there. But anyway, I digress. We missed Neo, which is important because I want to talk about that a little taste. One-eye symbolism. Is there life beyond the boom? Again, you know, always there's coding involved. This is one reason why I kind of got on folks the last time when they was looking at Walter Veef and they saw some signs, or they saw what they perceived to be some hand signs that were really just inadvertent hand positions and postures that you find yourself using or putting your hands in because the hands become awkward and cumbersome when you're standing up speaking for a long time without a podium in particular. But you want to find several signs, just like we see with the reporters. When the reporters are shape-shifting, every time it's a real good one, it's because they're talking about something demonic at the time. When Brian Todd, the #1 reptilian reporter of all time from CNN, he has the most famous shapeshifts of all time. I've caught him doing it live. I've been watching CNN and seen him do it live with my own 2 eyes. But he was talking about the soldiers getting chipped in the most famous clip. And during that news story, he began to flutter and flicker. Okay? So I said that to say there's going to be more than one indicator. You know, we don't serve a creator who would want you to condemn someone based on an inadvertent hand gesture that they had no intention on using for any nefarious reason, or that they weren't even aware they were using, most importantly. So again, you find several indicators. Here you find several indicators. You find the indication in the wording. Look at other things concerning the issue itself. 26 neighborhood reports, that's the 8, the infamous 8. You have the haunted Central Park West development, all on this same one. Then you have her looking terrified. Terror, of course, the one-eye symbolism, and the duality of the towers there. But I wanted to see Neo. I know what it is, but here it is. This is Neo's. Neo is his birth date. When Agent Smith and them first take him in for questioning, before his mouth disappears, he shows his ID, his date of, it does say birth, right? Maybe it's not birth. Date of issue, I believe it says, is September 11th anyway. Okay. But I was thinking about it. Excuse me. Sorry. I was thinking about it in relation to his birth date. And if that doesn't say birth, which it does not appear to, like I thought it did when this thought first came to mind, then we can totally strike this from the record. But I thought about the fact that Neo, as we saw Pastor Joe Schimmel explain to us in great detail, Neo is a antichrist or false Christ figure. And there are researchers now who are saying that they can calculate that when Christ would have been born, according to when the appearance of the North Star would have facilitated it, would have been September 11th. And there's a lot of researchers coming out with that now. So that I thought would be significant if that had been his birth date, especially being that he is supposed to be, a New Age or Neo, meaning new or New Age, Christ figure. So, and yes, as I said, we looked at that one of the previous Hermetic Theater live streams in great detail. It was broken down to us that yes, without a doubt, you can look at the symbolism that perhaps was intended by the sister who originally came up with the Matrix and Terminator ideas. Her story is interesting, but I wanted to think, she was a Christian woman and she just wanted to put a Christian story. No, she sounded very Pan-African, metaphysical, New Age to me, and she was letting her Cleveland just hang out to the flow, which just wasn't. It just wasn't the way of a woman of God. I thought in that interview, it was hard to take what you saying seriously. Okay, good night. But anyway, so that was what it was from The Matrix, 1999, an inversion. A 666 inversion, which is why Bone Thugs used it as the title of their album, East 1999, or East 1999. Anyway, well, she didn't lose them all. She got something out of it, Yojo. Yes, thank you, Copper Tone. Yes, Sister Sophia Stewart. Just like Mariska Hargitay, names come and names go away. I'm sorry, there's so many of them up there. But yes, that's what I'm talking about. Sister Sophia Stewart, yes, she just recently did an interview, and she was telling how things ended up more in her favor than what we thought. Now again, she didn't get everything that she was going to get. She's a black woman, okay, in Hollywood, and she got to play their way to get a little taste of what she's supposed to get for pay. So, but my point is, I certainly came away with a different impression than what I had in my head. And it really reinforced what Pastor Joe Schimmel said. There's no way they could have really twisted that movie up, if it really had a Christian foundation or a Holy Spirit guided foundation. Excuse me. For its original storyline, they couldn't have butchered it and twisted it up. So it wasn't too far from what the Wachowski sisters ended up making it be. And yes, in classic Hermetic theater form, the directors of The Matrix, which were once called the Wachowski brothers, took their time and one by one became the Wachowski sisters. They made it official. Make it official. Yep. And now their hearts are like little tenderonis. All right. So now, what we can do is this. Happy birthday to Sister Jazz's son. Happy birthday to your son, Sister Jazz. Now, this is what we can do. We can keep going. That's right. There is no spoon. Right. Teaching you New Age and metaphysics. Teaching you that the power of God is in your mind. That was the bottom line of that. Mentalism. Yes, the bros became hoes. Sister Kanka Kong. They sure did. And just as ugly as they can be. Like both of them fell out the ugly tree and hit every single branch on the way down. Let me show you. Because that's the end of this. We've seen them all now, I believe. I think the last one was... Yeah, the last one was the coup. So that's cool on that. But yeah, for someone who hasn't seen the Wachowskis, watch out. Watch out for the Wachowskis. Young men, watch out for Wachowskis in your neighborhood. Wachowski. Bristers. Wachowski Bristers. Yes. That's what you call those. I almost wrote it. Dun, 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 dun. Have mercy this evening. It's too early for Halloween. Look at this. Look at this here. Look at this here. Look at this here. Look like he scared a bark off a tree. Look at that. Scared a bark out of a dog too. Whew. Heebie-jeebies. Whew. Okay. Now we've had a good one for 2 and 40, 2 hours and 40 minutes. Now what I wanted to do is maybe separate this into two, and we'll deal with our mind control portion, the specific study of MK Ultra, by looking at the Jay Myers documentary, and then if time permits, but like I said, that documentary is an hour, and if we stop it and examine certain parts of it, that will fill up our entire time. But if time permits, after that, I wanted to show the psychiatry documentary that I had talked about before, or at least give information to how folks can see it if they want to see it. It's very enlightening for folks who have who themselves, or who have friends and loved ones who have struggled with the diagnosis of mental illness and the things that come along with that. So, yep. What in the world? Whew. Yep, this is the Wachowski. Here's the before and afters. You want to see the before and afters? He should have stayed like he was. Whew. Have mercy. This evening, morning, and night. Anyway, I can't look at that no more. Bye. See that neither. A couple of vampires. Bimbos too. Okay. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna do, y'all. Let's do this. Yeah, I just showed you both of them. That's why I said it's the Wachowski Bristers now. But so yeah, so let's do that. We're gonna let this one be the predictive programming one. And yes, this can be a snack break. It could be a snack break. But for the devil, it's always a back break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna break the devil's back some more. We're going to look into MK Ultra. We're going to let Brother Jay Myers, who does excellent documentaries, where he, in layman's terms, can explain some very tough concepts. And I appreciate folks that can do that, because that's what's most important to do. So, without further ado, that's what I want to do. We'll play a tune here to go out. And then folks can come back in. Okay? You want to come right back in if you'd like. And then we're going to go ahead with the Jay Myers doc and continue to rock. Then after that, for our third installment tonight, will be our reading from Rebecca Brown, MD's book, He Came to Set the Captives Free. And that will be in our normal reading place where we normally read Marvin and Jan after the dance. So that's the agenda. That's on the itinerary. That's what's on the itinerary for the night. Okay. And thank you, Sister Yojo, for joining us as long as you could. And I appreciate folks who did. And I just explained it all. No, Brother Ruben, you didn't miss it. You didn't miss it. You didn't miss it, Brother Ruben. And yeah, Ruben, I was serious. You should write. You should write. And Ruben's got quite a story. He gonna tell his story to y'all one day, one time, but not tonight. But he's gonna get it together, and we're gonna give Brother Ruben the flow. We're gonna let it be a special Ruben show. And when I call on you, you be ready to go. Okay? All right. So now, I'm glad that folks was blessed by this. Thank you, Sister Tyra, for staying with us as long as you did. We appreciate you. And thank you, Sister D. Scott, who says, I got a great information. I will be back. Thanks for having me. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you, T Talks. Thank you for joining us. I hope that you enjoyed yourself. We enjoyed having you. And yes, we'll see folks on Wednesday who gonna do that. And yeah, because I gave y'all a movie this week, I ain't gonna give you no 8 hours tonight. No. In all seriousness, though, I do feel like in order to make sure that everybody get the most bang for their buck out of this message, I want to make it separate from the next message, okay? And also so the video don't be so long. You know, one of them at 3 hours, the next one at 3 hours, then the reading at an hour. So you'll end up with 7 hours of Unplug 'em's powers. I have no powers. You'll end up with 7 hours of the Holy Ghost powers. Amen. So that's what we're going to do. Does that sound agreeable? All right. Okay. All right. Well, let's get it. All right. Thank you, Silk Don. Now, what I think you can do is, like if you just, well, no, you don't want to just stay here. Another notification should come up. But you'll know what time it is. After the music is through, I'm going to stop the video. Maybe within 2 minutes' time, you should get another notification. If you don't get another notification within a couple minutes' time, just go on YouTube and type Unplug 'em in there and go to my channel. And you'll see if a live stream is being conducted, it will indicate it there, even if it doesn't contact you. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. So, again, thanks to everybody who came through that was new. We appreciate you. Good night to you, Brother Reg from Regmon Music. We appreciate you. Chick P is going to go get wheat thins and apple juice. So I think you're going to still be hungry. Let me see here. Wheat thins ain't no good without no cheese on them. Got to have some cheese. Okay? So this is how we're going to go out. Without a doubt. Let's do it like this. Let's go out with some power. A little power. And wait a minute, Sister Minister Imani says, Brother Theo, you said there will be more, and there has been. Thank you for the encouragement. That's right. You're open to it. And as you're open to it, the Father's going to let you continually do it. And it won't wear you out. He's not going to wear you out. He's never going to give you more than you can bear. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. Amen. The troll's getting lit up tonight. Too many straps in attendance. That's right. Praise God. And we thank him for the opportunity to serve. The workman is worthy of their hire. And of course, that's not why you do the work. But you can't make a lie out of our Father. And you can't beat him at giving. Please believe me. And how's Shea Butter? How's Shea Butter? Thank you, Hollywood. Hollywood's here. This was a great lesson tonight. Amen. I'm glad that could be a blessing tonight. And for Shea Butter, for our brother Tyree, a.k.a. Black Blonde, also for the folks who have asked to reach out and help them. I appreciate you all, and God bless you all. And we will be sure that everyone is connected, okay? That needs it. Amen. God is our reward. Amen. And I want my crown in the end. That's what I want. I don't want none of this jive you can get while you're here. Everything you can get while you're here is some jive. I want something for real. Give me my crown. Amen. Sister Rachel, we're ending program 1. We're about to go into program 2. Oh yeah, I could tell she was serious. I've read enough of them. It was easy to see. So We have to give her credit for being transparent, sincere, and courageous. Courageous. She struck me as strong. And if you're strong, you're going to last long. If you pray, you'll stay, and if you fast, you'll last. Amen? All right. And y'all get your questions ready for Reuben night. Y'all going to find out about a man of great adventure. Yes. I bet he's sitting there with a dose of key right now. All right. The world's most interesting man. One of them. Fast for Holy Ghost power. Yes, send in all your prayer requests with detail by email. And for those prayer requests that are in the live stream chat, we are going to handle that. Rest assured. Rest assured. Email me. Good night, Sister Natasha. And Sister Nikisha, when you gonna advertise? When you gonna tell me something here so I can advertise for you? Or we can figure out some kind of way to let people know how to patronize if they feel so inclined. Nah, maybe one more. I don't want to rush folks out the door. I see folks are still congregating and relating. I know what you want. This is what you need right here. Okay. And the Detroit show is still on the flow. After we get old Prince Short Tail out the way. We gotta get him out the way. This is the last song, so you won't have to keep them eyes open for too long. I'm going to close this one out and come back in with a fresh one, Sister Erica.
the morning. All right. Late in the evening. Let's get together. Let's get together for a Christian society.
Late in the evening, let's get together, me and you, for one more Christian fellowship. Join us for part 2. Y'all come on back now, you hear?